Let's get straight into the highlights from yesterday at FedEx Forum. The Grizzlies on MLK Day, as it always is, as it always should be. Grizzlies taking on the Timberwolves. Desmond Bane hits a three to get it started. Grizz went up 11 quick, but then things got UGLY, need an alibi kind of ugly. Not that jaw finish, though. That was pretty. Not this one either. Between the leggies, Conley, Gobert, and Ant got nothing for him. Grizzlies shot 34% in the first half, 4 of 22 from 3. You want to make it easy? Throw it to the 7'4" dude in a face mask, Edie. Another win for Canadian French. The kids behind me chanting, "We want Gigi!" Got a win too as he made his season debut, a little Euro step around Gobert for his first bucket. 54-43 Minnesota lead at half. Call this 7 points because it's a touchdown. QB 12 with the rocket to Jalen Wells. And the Grizzlies fighting their way back into this one. Santa Claus was stuck on the Polar Express. Didn't have a point late in the third, but a jaw finds him for the spicy slam. Grizzlies would trail by 5 going into the fourth quarter. If you're dialing with fat thumbs, it is easy to press a 3 instead of a 2. So you're calling 13 as Jaren Jackson Jr. starting to cook. He said he's in the same network as 12, so you don't even have to add a line, which is good because Ja, tough bucket. He had 19 and 7. Charlie the Unicorn had Candy Mountain. Jaren Jackson Jr. the Unicorn has the coast-to-coast behind-the-back floater. He is 7 feet tall. Not supposed to do that. Tie game, 100 all. Dial extension 22. Bane with the finish, and the Grizzlies have the lead. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr. had 15 of his 24 points in the fourth quarter. The post-up, glow-up is real. And Anthony Edwards would have another chance at a game-winning 3 against the Grizzlies. Let's see how it goes. Oh, it's the same way it went last time. Grizz win 108-106. Winners on MLK Day. Always a special day at FedEx Forum. Always nice when they can get the win. By God, was a lot of that game not pretty to watch. The crowd was awesome yesterday. Like, the crowd was just waiting for a reason to get into that game, to have a reason to get loud. I had multiple friends texting me, wow, this is the loudest it's been at a game that they had been at thus far this season. And MLK Day always does just a good production job. I do want to give a shout out to the Arena Ops, the game day production team from the pregame with Cheryl Miller and Tommy Smith and Amari Stoudemire getting their legacy awards, the halftime show with Lucky Day. Just feels good that the Grizzlies can get the win. It feels great that they get it done on national television. And to be a team that has a far trajectory in the postseason, you have to find a way to win ugly games. And when you have Jaren Jackson Jr., John Morant, and Desmond Bane all operating in a way where you can trust them down the stretch in a game like that, I do think that's a big positive to take out of yesterday's game.
That's huge. That's huge. It's going to have to be a three-headed monster when you think about how this team is going to progress throughout the playoffs. January has hit. We have passed the halfway point. You are what you are at this point. Got some questions about some of these teams. Cough, cough, Celtics right now. But like you pretty much are what you are at this point.
Did you watch any of their game yesterday?
I did. And I've got questions about other teams, but I was just throwing that in there as a throwaway. We can talk about it some other point.
My takeaway is the Warriors are cooked.
They're done.
They're done.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have a trade. There's nothing that changes
no questions.
it. Yeah.
No questions about the Golden State Warriors. I think I know what they are. Mm-hmm. I don't fully know what the Celtics are. Back on the Grizzlies. What the Grizzlies are is a team that is going to be led by and carried by those three: Jaren, Dez, Ja. Those three are going to have to play at a really, really high level every single game come postseason play. Now, sure, one of these players is going to give you a game, assuming they're still on the roster. I don't know what the trade deadline is going to do, but assuming they are still on the roster, you'll get a Santi game and some Santi moments.
Last night.
No, well, we'll talk about that. You'll probably get a Luke Kennard game, I'm thinking.
Not last night.
But we're not talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about in the future. You're probably going to get one of
How about a Jalen Wells?
No.
He had at least 13 points.
Maybe
in a game where every point counted.
Maybe a Jalen Wells, Zach Edey game, right? Like, you're going to get moments, certainly from at least one in a deep playoff run from some of those role players. But the way you get into a deep playoff run, you can't bank on those types of performances from those types of role players. You have to bank on your three guys, Jaren, John, Dez, playing at an extraordinarily high level, and one of them closing out the game. I love the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. has looked to be more aggressive, more assertive in the fourth quarter. Jaren had foul trouble earlier in that game, which led to the Grizzlies, to me, looking very, very bad offensively, right? And I was thinking about this. If you had to rank individual players, individual moves on this Grizzlies team, 1 to 5, top 5, you would say, oh, Jaren in the paint, floater, left hand. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, right? Like, he's got all of the moves. So when you need a bucket, and they desperately needed a bucket, they couldn't just throw it to Jaren because Jaren wasn't on the court with foul trouble, and that led to Santi taking a bunch of threes and missing them. That led to Gigi coming into the game with no legs, taking threes and missing them. That led to other players forcing bad shots because somebody needed to score, and they were just in a rut. If they had Jaren on the court, they could have gotten out of that rut. They could have broke that Timberwolves run, and they would have been much better served. I think Jaren is the best offensive option this team has when you need to get a bucket this year.
That's why I think Jaren is the most important player on this team. And that's not a knock to Ja. And even Ja last night in his post-game remarks in the locker room, he called Jaren the franchise player. Like, that's not typical star behavior.
Ja, this is the same Ja Morant who took his most improved player trophy and just stuck it in Desmond Bane's
house. Yes, but that's my point.
Ja does this.
That's my point. Ja does not operate under the, this is my world and I am constantly the brightest star in FedEx Forum every night. I think there's a respect, and I don't think it's just word salad and nonsense. Like, he truly believes it and understands that them working, and especially being able to truly rely on not one but two options down the stretch in a game, and you throw Desmond Bane in there, all that is solidifying yourself as someone who can make a deeper run when things slow down late in a game, to be able to have the consistency from those three players. And you mentioned that it feels like Jaren has really taken a leap forward in his productivity in the fourth quarter. And that's because he has. He's averaging 7 points in the fourth quarter this season. That leads the team. That's top 10 in the NBA. And it is a travesty that when the fan voting section of the All-Star votes comes out later this week, Jaren Jackson Jr. most likely will not be named a starter. I did love over the weekend when they put him next to Yuki Kawamura in a live stream video where they talked about the Lunar New Year and they did sketch drawing of Ja, and I thought that was very strategic. But he has been behind on those fan votes, and I would assume, you never assume, but I would assume that the coaches will put him in. There's 3 forward spots. If you can't get the forward spot, there's 2 wild card position spots that are positionless. Anyone can get them. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is playing at a level where it would be insane for him not to appear at All-Star Weekend.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m.